And ladies and gents, just coming out here for a little update. I actually tried to film this update yesterday and my stupid camera ran out of videos about halfway through it. So as you can see, we've still got some snow on the ground, especially on these, like this north facing slope hasn't melted at all. And in the rabbit hutch you can see there's still a fair amount of ice on the ground. Last night I introduced a male to this setup. I really expected to see the male start going after the females right away. He didn't. Now he did start running around and sniffing everything and spraying, marking his territory on everything that he could. And the females came out and they were sniffing his butt and sniffing him and hanging out with him, and he seemed to be showing very little interest in them. I can only assume that's because he was taken out of the cage that he's been raised in and put into a territory that wasn't his own. His main priority was marking his territory. I would imagine at this point, now that he's been in here for close to a day, that he has probably bred a couple of these females. Now, I'm not sure if he's going to be a long-term resident in here or if I'm going to take him out here in a few days. I want to leave him in here long term. I don't like having my rabbits in cages anymore now that I've seen how this colony stuff works. They just really seem to enjoy being on the ground and having this extra space to run around and being able to tunnel. I just think it's a lot healthier for them, mentally anyway. And for me, I'm not a religious person really, but I am somewhat spiritual, and I imagine this is spiritually healthier for them as well, and better for anybody who's gonna eat the finished product. The kits that these rabbits will have are going to be raised to butcher weight and butchered for meat. But the whole goal here is to combat the commercialized farming industry without becoming a vegetarian. I'm not interested in becoming vegetarian. I like to eat meat. I just want to try to find meat that has come from places that aren't evil. You know, if anybody's ever watched Food Inc. or knows anything about what goes on behind the scenes in commercial farming, it's disgusting, revolting, and nothing short of evil, if you ask me. That's the main reason I'm doing this. I'm trying to eat healthier, trying to get good meat at an affordable cost, and at the same time, I can control the quality of these animals' welfare myself, and I can make sure that they're being treated properly. With that being said, I do still have rabbits in cages. That's what this giant ugly camo tint is. I'll give you just a quick peek inside. I'm not going to focus on it too long because this video series is about my colony, not about my caged rabbits. But the caged rabbits have to be tarped over. Inside here. There they are. This has to be tarped over because rabbits who are in cages can't hunker down to the ground or dig tunnels to get away from the wind and the cold. Rabbits can endure a lot of cold, but they cannot endure the cold with the wind. I'll tell you, that's one thing I'm loving about this colony setup, is that I don't have to make a big giant ugly tarp tent that my neighbors hate. These rabbits, they keep themselves warm by tunneling and by keeping hunkered down to the ground. But I will say a couple of my main concerns now that I've added a breeding male to this pen is that once the females become pregnant, are they going to become territorial? Are they going to start attacking each other? Are they going to start attacking the male? Also, if you watched my last video update, the one where this snow was first coming down, when we looked in that plastic shelter right there, I noticed that there was some water in the back side of it in one of the tunnels she'd made. Now, are these rabbits going to be smart enough to start tunneling in an uphill direction to where water doesn't gather? Are they going to build a nest in a low spot like that? Am I going to lose entire nests full of kits to a simple rain? Or will the females know enough to move their kits somewhere else if something compromises the original nest they've made? I don't know. My gut feeling is telling me that they're not going to have that strong of instincts, and that I may end up losing lots of nestfuls of kits during this experiment. I'm not sure. I am definitely concerned about it, and that's the main reason why I still have rabbits in cages and why I haven't put them all on the ground. I just want to see how this is all going to pan out first. So, we shall see. I'm really hoping for the best. I'm hoping that being on the ground like this has brought out their more natural instincts, and hopefully they have stronger instincts for where to build a nest and where not to. But I'll certainly keep you guys updated, good or bad, no matter what happens. That's the whole point of this experiment, is to get results, to find out if this is something feasible, something worth doing, or if colony rabbits have to be on, you know, like a concrete floor, something that they can't dig too far down into so that I can still manage the babies. We will find out. But I'm happy to see that these gals and guy are coming out today, giving us a little bit of stuff to video here. They weren't cooperating very well on the video with the snow coming down. But yeah, as you can see, they hop around on this stuff like it's not even there. It doesn't seem to bother them. They do have very thick insulation on the bottom of their feet. For those of you that don't know, the rabbits grow a different type of fur on the bottom of their feet than what can be found on the rest of their body. The fur that grows on their feet or on their pads is very thick. It almost reminds one of like some kind of a carpet or something. Very, very thick. And of course, meat rabbits are bred to have thick fur on their paws, otherwise they'd never be able to handle sitting on wire cages. That fur is what insulates their pads from the wire floored cages. And of course, it also has the effect of insulating their feet from the cold if they happen to be in a ground pen in the snow. Here's my little dog Chico. He's checking out the bunnies. Everybody sees my videos, particularly the insane screaming rabbit video. They like to say, "Oh, well, your rabbit's terrified. Obviously, you have a dog out there." Well, that's nonsense. These rabbits have been raised around this dog. If anything, they almost like the dog. I can put the dog in here with them and they just kind of play around. They somewhat ignore each other after a point too, but nothing has ever... These rabbits have never been scared of that little dog. Hell, these rabbits weigh more than this dog does at full size, so... I always think that's kind of funny when people start chastising me for having the dog around the rabbits. You know, it's all about what you condition your rabbits to, folks. If these rabbits are exposed to certain stimuli at an early age, they will accept it as part of their environment. Over here, we got a rabbit in the corner. As you can see, they got lots of little side entrances and backup entrances to their shelter over here in the corner. But so far, so good. I haven't noticed any fighting. With the snow being on the ground, it makes it easy to tell if any blood has been spilled anywhere. I haven't seen any blood droplets or anything. I don't think these rabbits are biting each other or doing anything of the sort. So far, so good. Anyway, guys, I'm kind of rambling here. I'm gonna get the water bowl switched out. As you can see, it's frozen right now. Get their water switched out, add some food to their feeder, and be on my way to work. Let them do their thing like they always do. I've also, one more thing I'll address before I close this video, is I've had a lot of people concerned that, well, won't these rabbits tunnel, you know, right out of here? Maybe. They might. But truth be told, those rabbits could climb this fence if they wanted to. These rabbits can get out of this pen if they want to, period. They just don't want to. They don't seem to have a desire to. If they tunnel out, well, I'll just block the tunnel entrance. In fact, I've got one tunnel over here where I've had to do that. Now, they weren't trying to tunnel out, they were just tunneling into this hillside here, and they were a little too shallow. If I move this log here, it's frozen. But see that? Maybe? Yeah. That's a hole they could easily have gotten out of this pen, but they didn't. Or if they did come out, they just went right back in and I never noticed, because they've got everything they need here. They've got their water bowl, they've got a feeder, they've got shelters. They've marked this territory as their own. This is their home. Until they have a reason to try to escape here, they're not going to. Now, maybe if it was overcrowded, maybe if one of the rabbits was getting bullied a lot, it would try to escape. But as is, these rabbits are content in here, and they're not trying to escape. My main concern is something getting in. Somebody's dog, you know. Somebody's dog gets loose and jumps in here, he could cause some serious damage. Raccoon gets in here, could cause some serious damage. And unfortunately, I've never seen a fox in this neighborhood. That would be a major concern if I ever saw a fox. So I don't know how feasible a colony setup is for folks who are out in the country and stuff like that. I'm in a suburb, in the middle of a suburb, near Kansas City. So, as you might guess, there's not a ton of wildlife out here to have to worry about. But anyhow, I am going to wrap this up now, guys. I'm getting cold out here. It's time to go to work anyhow. Thank you for tuning in. I will certainly continue to keep you updated, and we'll see how this goes. I've certainly got my fingers crossed that it works, because if it does work, I want to get all of my rabbits out of cages. I'll build a second pen and have 2 rabbit colonies out here on the ground like this. And I'll just keep my cages for growing up babies that are nearing butcher weight, you know. As I can catch young ones that are nearing butcher weight, I'll just grab them out of the pens and start putting them in holding cages for the last couple of weeks to fatten them up and get them ready for butcher. And so that's the purpose that my hutches can serve if I do get all these guys out on the ground. So that is the end goal. Anyhow, folks, have a good day. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, have a good one.